Hello and welcome to KUMP. We're back. As you can see, we have the sign. The sign is back. What do you think of that, Lucy?
I'm happy about it.
You happy I could figure things out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Exciting time. I'm still wearing the same shirt. I see some comments out there. People seem, you change your outfits every week.
I have a rotation.
I have the same shirt. I mean, for ages, I wore the same sweatshirt. Now, why can't I get the same treatment as a Wes Anderson character, as a Bill Murray-esque, or the guy from Ray Fiennes in the Budapest in the Budapest hotel? Why can't I just get that? I'm a caricature. If I was an action figure, I come with a few changes of dress. You're not going to see me wearing a Dead Kennedys T-shirt. That's you're not going to see me wearing a Simone Biles either pro or con shirt. Whether you're pro Simone Biles or against her.
What are the against Simone Biles shirts?
I just say quitter, I guess. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's a lot of people for weeks. I mean, it's very nice that the Olympics are over now. At one point, people seem to think that the Olympics brought people together. It seems not the case. They were a source of great anguish.
And animosity.
It's a reason to hate. I don't know what happened. The problem is, look, I was talking last week. I was one of the media, I suppose. Kevin Durant, the basketball boy, was very outspoken, if you will, on the media after he defeated the French team in the basketball gold medal round.
Is he bragging?
He defeated famous Rudy Gay.
Rudy Gobert.
Whatever. People pointed out that was Rudy Gobert. But then it turns out Rudy Gay was signed by the Utah Jazz, who Rudy Gobert was a team member of. So, am I Nostradamus? Am I the gatekeeper of basketball dreams? Yes.
Rudy Gobert is a cutie.
You like Rudy Gobert?
Yeah, we were watching it.
We watched it. It aired Friday night, Eastern Standard Time. And I'm not sure. I think it was supposed to be Saturday in Japan. And Lucie decided to root for the French.
Yeah. Does it make things interesting?
Just to make, does it have to do with the fact that you have dual French citizenship?
I have dual allegiance.
Yeah, I mean, that's suspect. I mean, if you were just some girl from Wisconsin who didn't know France from a block of cheese, that'd be one thing. But you're a dual citizen. You could be a spy.
Yeah.
You're playing a rope-a-dope. Yeah, were you crushed? You know what the rope-a-dope is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with this. Very astute. I could see you wanting to call me out.
I wasn't sure why you were using the term.
What is Muhammad Ali's famous tactic against George Foreman, the Brute, have to do with this? Nothing. You've won. You've won this round. But
I was sad that they lost.
You were sad. I mean, what would you have done if they had won?
If they had won, I would have, baked madeleines.
Can you make madeleines?
Yeah,
there's a famous Proust book, or a series of books. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Remembrance of Things Past. I've read.
You're the one who read some of it.
I read some of it. I listened to an audio book for a couple of hours of it. It's one of the most beautiful. It's considered one of the most beautiful books of all time. Novels, right? It's a series of them, very long. It's about and he starts out with this Madeleine cookie, and this reminds me of my youth in France. And it's very, I can't even translate it. I'm telling you, Proust is very good. He's worth the hype. I didn't finish it. I didn't get very far. But I would like to read Proust one day in its entirety, or even just more than. What does it have?
50 pages?
What is an hour in an audiobook? Like 10 pages? 20 pages? Anyway. But I still use that as a cudgel against people when they try to, get snobby.
Yeah.
People go to me like, oh, what's your. Marvel movies, they're for kids.
You use that as a cudgel that you read a little bit of Remembrance of Things Past.
Well, yeah. Because it's a game of poker. All this is a game of poker. People, work with they say, oh, Marvel movies are just for or dumb babies movies. I say, oh yeah, what's your favorite Tarkovsky film? You're like, I have in childhood. Or you're like Stalker better, and they don't have an answer. Because I like Tarkovsky, Alexander Tarkovsky, the great director of Russia. And his films are some of the most prestigious films of all time. So if you try to come at me like I like superhero stuff, we're going right to Tarkovsky. We're going straight to 100,000. That's how it works. All right. We don't play games like, they're kind of good. Look, I'll admit some of the Marvel movies aren't, the best, but Endgame and Infinity War had some really nice. Nope. Oh, you're a smart boy? What do you think about, name your favorite scene from Ivan's childhood. Go. And some people, look,
your favorite scene?
Yeah. I have a favorite scene.
You go down to the scene?
I'll go to the scene with you. You want to quiz me on the scene? I have a scene ready to go. Even if it's not my favorite, here's a trick for you. Even if it's not really my favorite scene, because I've only seen it like once or twice.
It proves that you remember the scenes.
There's a famous scene you could name. You could say, oh, the scene where the soldier and the girl are spanning that chasm, and it's upwards, the shot upwards. Boom, you win. Because it's one of those shots that it's iconic. It's an iconic. Always remember the iconic shots of obscure things you watch or listen to. Don't let people. People going to play the game like I'm pretentious. I hate the appeal to. I'm a regular guy. Yeah. I work in a butcher shop. So smarter than you. I've seen Ivan's childhood, and I have things in my pocket in case you have seen it. Mm-hmm. So don't come at me with your Marvel. Look, at the end of the day, is Marvel that great? I'm getting sick of it. All these new things, the Loki, fine. And the Captain America, the Winter Soldier, it's all whatever. But I'm never gonna let some fucking little fucking beta boy.
You once went toe to toe with a guy who was sort of like a fraudulent film buff.
Yeah, I don't remember this.
Yeah.
That's how little he means to me. tell the tale.
And you were trying to talk to him about Ivan's childhood, and he was like, "Oh, I watched the first 5 minutes of that. It was very inspiring."
How do you turn it off? How did I respond to that? Because I honestly my response now. I mean, off the top of my head, you watched 5 minutes of it and you turned it off.
Yeah.
It's very inspiring. Oh, is our old roommate?
Yeah.
The fraud, the guy who ate beets all day. And then
he would eat a weird mixture of salmon and beets.
Gross, disgusting person. And then he was telling me that I watched 5 minutes of that. And then look at his job, but he tried to pretend to be this pretentious guy from Texas who I grew up eating cheese and gross things, and now I'm trying to be healthy. I'm a cultured guy. But I heard him because the walls were thin. He would play terrible music, and I remember I heard him.
And he listened to Joe Rogan all day.
Was it Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
Oh, because he also loved. He listened to, because he loved to be, look, if you still listen to or watch, what's his name, Bill Maher.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to, call you the devil. It's fine. I mean, I liked it, when it first came out when I was literally 15 years ago. It was fine. It was something, but this guy who tried to have avant-garde opinions or something or be part of the intelligent discussion, and he's getting his fucking crib notes from fucking Bill Maher. I mean, I like Bill Maher back in the day. He after 9/11, he was didn't he call the 9/11 hijackers heroes? Well, no,
he said they're bad people, but you can't call them cowards.
It's true.
Yeah, it's which was a good point.
Look,
he was talking about how the press, everybody was calling them cowards.
People take shots at them. I don't think you can accuse him of being a coward, having cowardly points.
Yeah,
they may be boomerish, they may be long-winded. I often agree with the sentiment of Bill Maher.
They've grown to be a little bit like old man yells at cloud.
Yeah. But I'm saying is you could do worse in your life than to be Bill Maher. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Wealthy man loves to philander, perhaps. I don't know. I'm just saying I'd love to have his court date. What's court de ver mean?
I don't know. What does it mean?
You're French, aren't you? Is that like his style? Is court de ver mean your style?
What is that?
I don't know. I'm trying to sound intelligent. I don't know how we got into Bill Maher. I'll shit on Bill Maher all day. I'm just saying, but then you look at who's questioning him, and it's all right, you're worse than Bill Maher. At least that guy took a stand against 9/11.
Oh, sure.
So stop defending the troops. These guys are real heroes. I mean, I'm just saying, it's a ballsy statement. He got fired from his gig, and they got a gig on HBO. Yeah. Anyway, this blowhard of a roommate we had he would blast Bill Maher, and then which again, I'm not going to be impressed by it. But he sold like weird industrial software to dupe people, and he acted like he was like an ingenue or something. He was just a fraud. Like he just sold like just a shitty salesman. Anyway, the Olympics. So I mean, I don't know. So the Kevin Durant won. He led the team. It was some other guys did really well, but Kevin Durant, who I'm not a huge fan of, the burner phone boy, the man who screams at children. But he was on Instagram or whatever, going like, "You guys doubted us. You said and you're trying to be American," which is, I couldn't expect anything less of Kevin Durant, because look, he should have been doubted. The tides are turning against America. Maybe it was overstated, but you guys lost your exhibition games. You lost your friggin' your first game against the French. And then Kevin Durant, like, who's a great player. Hey, why don't you bring that fire when it matters? Now, I know he's won games, but how about you go to a team that sucks and pull them up?
Yeah.
Do it. Like, you don't want to do it, that's fine, but, like, it's not a great story. Sports are stories. The whole point of sports is to be a story for me to be inspired by.
He was great in the games, though.
He's great. Look, he's one of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
He should be. No one doubts him on the court. It's just, like, classless. I don't want to throw that around like...
When he says you doubted us, does he mean, like, the fans?
No, the media. And, like, guys like Brian Windhorst, probably, who was over there in Tokyo. This guy had to go to Tokyo and stay in a hotel, and he apparently eats 7-Eleven food the whole time. Couldn't go anywhere because the Japanese didn't want the media going anywhere. So, like, whatever. I'm saying, and he's just telling the truth. I'm seeing this stuff as, I'm worried about the team, and I'm not calling him classless the way some people go, like, shut up and dribble. That's not what I'm doing. But just, like, for your role, can you ever take the angle that, like, just makes you look cooler, and more, like, just, like, the stoic guy? Why is everything you do? You went to Golden State when they were already a 72-win team, one of the best successful teams of all time, and you won 2 titles. Fine. It's lame. And you go on through, you complain, your mom going on First Take and playing to Stephen A. going like, you called it the weakest move of any superstar.
Wait, Kevin Durant's mom is a commentator?
No, she went on First Take. Stephen A. Smith?
Yeah.
You know him. Like, because Stephen A. Smith famously called it the weakest move ever by a superstar, which I still think is fair. And Kevin Durant's mom, who is like... sometimes the moms will get, like LeBron's mom. I don't know if she's a TV fixture, but her story is like, single mom raised LeBron, the whole thing. It's mythologized in the Space Jam movie.
I didn't know that basketball moms were so.
They can be. Look, Andy Murray's mom was, in tennis was also a fixture. But Kevin Durant's mom, very sweet woman. Who was going to argue with the mom? I would, but whatever. I think Stephen A.
His son's a brat.
Yeah, I would. Stephen A. didn't completely fold, but I would be like, "Why are you even on my show?" And you invited me. Well, you get out of here. Why don't you get out of here? I don't care whose mom you are. But she's like, "Oh, you said this is the weakest move." It is the weakest move. Look, you do whatever you want. In a vacuum, none of this matters. None of it. It's balls in the hoop. It's the story. It's what we get out of it. But I'm the best in the world. What, you think there's some computer paying people tons of money for randomly being the best person at something? No, it's a league with fans who watch, and they want a story. They want Joe DiMaggio with his winning streak, and he's kissing Marilyn Monroe, and did he hit Marilyn Monroe? People say no. I always assume he did, but maybe he didn't.
I thought he did, but then I heard he didn't.
I know. He did apparently go to her grave every day with a flower.
Yeah.
And he loved her. He hated what the Kennedy boys did to her. The Kennedys did her wrong.
But he turned his back on John.
Why didn't he? He was such a great guy. I'll throw I'll throw the blame all around. Why didn't Joe DiMaggio roll up to? Well, I guess he was dead. Yeah. I guess they were both dead. Because at some point you would say, why didn't Joe DiMaggio cave your heads in with a baseball bat? But someone beat him to it. So I really can't go at Jumpin' Joe. I'd like to though. He should have gotten there first. How much better would the JFK assassination been if it was just Joe DiMaggio running up to that convertible and just fucking hitting Kennedy in the head with a baseball bat? Oh my! That would have made us like a great country. I think that was a turning point of our country. If it had been that, we could have like felt proud.
Right.
Because the story would have come out, the gangbang with the drugs and killing Marilyn. But instead we got, the Lee Harvey Oswald boy. Which, I don't think was a really great thing. We got to keep, I got to jiggle this every so often as it goes to something.
That would be great. He took a bat to his head and then, caved Jackie O's head in too.
Oh, wow.
it was just a really violent.
So he's going for her.
Pummeling.
He's what's he screaming while he's caving in Jackie O's head?
This is for you, Marilyn. This is for you.
It's like if my pussy's dead, your pussy's dead. If I don't get the fuck my love, your love dies the same as you. Jumpin' Joe DiMaggio.
He's singing Jumpin' Joe DiMaggio as he's caving her head.
Caving in an Irishman, pulling him in a coffin.
Do you think would he just run and catch up with the convertible, or would he be hiding in the trunk? How would this start?
He'd run. He's an athlete.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't drive that fast typically, so they make that. Look, the whole thing is they make that turn, and to slow down for the turn, he just ran out one of the buildings, and you would just see him like he was stealing second base. But he was stealing our president. And good for him. And no one would have blamed the Russians. It wouldn't have been like the years of conspiracy. It would have been like, it's just been a more calm time. I mean, do you think what do you think it would happen though? Would he go to jail for shooting for beating the president?
I think he would be. Well, he would definitely be shot.
Imagine the trial. Imagine the trial. Well, look. I mean, like you think they'd be shot in the spot. The Secret Service didn't do a great job that day. Let's be honest.
That's true.
So who knows what would have happened?
It just lines up with the assassination plot perfectly.
They would have asked him for autographs. Jumpin' Joe. Because it was like he was retired at this point, right? He wasn't still. I don't think he was still playing. If he was, it was very into the tail end of his career, if anything. But I think it was more the age of Mickey Mantle, I believe, and Roger Maris, perhaps. If you know your Yankee history, do you?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
What, you think you're trying to get me?
Yeah,
put me in a corner.
I'm gonna put you in a corner. And I'm gonna make you look foolish for not knowing Yankee facts. But yeah, I just think that, what would the trial have been like? The trial of Joe DiMaggio for beating the president of the United States head in with a baseball bat. I mean, would it be?
I think he gets off.
He gets off.
Yeah.
I mean, where is it? Is it just a trial in Dallas, or do they have it?
Even with hundreds of eyewitnesses.
Yeah, it's Jumpin' Joe.
People love Jumpin' Joe.
He goes, they did my girl wrong. They did Marilyn wrong. And I go, what do you mean? They were fucking her. They were like, he's on the stage. They were fucking her. and they were fucking Marilyn Monroe. Yeah, they were. Come on, they were fucking her. What's he gonna do? He doesn't even know they killed her. He just thinks they fucked her. They fucked my wife. Like some crazy volunteer witness comes forward going some CIA guy going, well, actually we had her killed. What? Oh God, I don't believe the CIA would do that. Like he doesn't even believe the CIA would do it. They were just fucking her, and I killed him. And then so the Olympics. So Kevin Durant, good for you. We're glad. You could have just kind of taken the high road for once. It's, whatever. I mean, I'm not gonna. I'd love to have Kevin Durant in this podcast. He'll never do it, but I'd love to have him on. And just challenge him on, on all these. Are
you saying it because he's obviously too famous to do it, or because you think he's scared to do the podcast?
Well, look, he is too famous. So the fact that he's too scared to do it is kind of irrelevant. He's the easiest out in the world. No, he would come on. Honestly, if his behavior is any indication, he might come on just because I'm a big rat. He think I'm a big fat rat and he's going to put me, and I'll just come out. Look, The Rock does that. The Rock will come at people in a friendly way on Twitter, I notice, who call him out, make jokes about him. I would just stick to my gun. These people always fold.
Yeah.
A famous person will do nothing for you. They'll never help you. So just go. Never fold to a famous person. You're in the aura and grace of a famous person. Always stick to your guns. Go, you're a rat. If you can't think of anything to say, go, you're a rat. We'll think of something. Martha Stewart. Be Martha Stewart, and then you happen to be on my podcast. We're at some podcast convention, and she happens to sit down in the random guest seat that I have.
Okay.
Hello, who are you?
Hello, I'm Martha Stewart.
Aren't you Martha Stewart, the prison rat?
I did have some legal troubles.
Yeah, you went to prison like a rat. Why didn't you kill yourself before you went to prison, like a good man does? You're a good boy.
I don't know. Why would I kill myself before going to prison?
Because everyone will assume
I have
you
a whole
ratted.
life ahead of me. I have a magazine. I have I still have a very famous network.
Because I'm out here telling everyone you're a rat, and you went states. You went states to get away.
You think I should kill myself because you're on your podcast calling me a rat?
100%.
Yeah. How would that make my life any worse?
Because at least
I'm a billionaire.
At least you die with dignity. You could die like a noble prince, noble prince of the Stewarts. See, like this is what I'm saying. This is how you win. You never give it. You never say, "Hey, nice to meet you." You just treat famous people like they're dirt. That's my motto. Anyway, so the Olympics are over. Good for the USA gold. I think we won the most gold medals for America. You know, as much as we hate America on this show, we don't hate America, but let's be.
We're critical.
Imagine being an American in 2021 and being like, and being insecure. Hey, don't shit in America. Like, I think we're covered.
Yeah.
I think we can handle ROPE-A-KUMP and Lucie taking shots at the troops. I don't think we're not exactly underdogs. Am I right?
Yeah.
But I have some ideas for the Olympics.
Former troops are some of the most cynical people I ever meet about America.
Yes, that's true. I mean, I speak for the what I assume troops are. Some troops love America. I don't speak for them.
We speak for the troops by saying they deserve to be killed. No,
I never said that. That's crazy. That's never been what I said. Well, you're totally out of line here. I've only said that they've committed atrocities, a lot of them.
Yeah.
And and been forced to. And the ones who weren't forced to are put in position to do it. They don't deserve to be killed. But I see where you're coming from. That being said, I do have some ideas for the Olympics.
Great.
What do they call the Special Olympics now?
I thought they still called it the Special Olympics.
Isn't it the Paralympics or something?
That's different. That's like physical disabilities.
I don't think it's called Special Olympics.
The Special Olympics is for, I thought the Paralympics is for the wounded or physically disabled.
Well, I think it's part of it.
And the Special Olympics is for...
I think they lump them together. Hold on, I'm looking it up now. Special Olympics. Is the world's largest... Oh, wait. Did they keep it? Is the world's largest sports organization for adults with intellectual disabilities and physical abilities.
Wow. So they do lump them together.
Yes, of course they do.
Do they have to play each other?
Yeah, I think they changed it and changed it back because I could have sworn they changed it.
What's the point in having a person in a wheelchair race a mentally handicapped person?
Well, apropos the point, it's a great point. It's a great reason, and here's where we're going with this. No one cares about the Olympics anymore, really. I mean, the NBC handled it very weirdly with Peacock and their subsidiaries, and no one could watch it. I mean, I watched two things in the Olympics. No one cared. It's a source of hate. No one's getting the unity anymore, right? No one's getting that good feeling anymore from the Olympics. Here's what we do, because the Special Olympics, I believe, is held in the weeks before the Olympics, right? That's what your understanding.
Mm-hmm.
We hold them instead at the same time as the Olympics.
Ah.
More to the point, we combine them so that Kevin Durant is playing basketball against someone who would be in the Special Olympics. Simone Biles is doing gymnastics against a Special Olympian. And look, we handicap it.
Right.
You go, that's not fair. They'll just get trounced. No, we handicap it. I guess that's a poor word in this case.
So
handicapping.
The handicapped girl, gymnastics girl in a wheelchair would get maybe 2 points for a move that Simone Biles would get 1 point.
Do you know what handicapping is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a poor choice of words, but there's no other way to say it. So yeah, what's your idea?
I'm saying, for example.
I just wanted to let that joke. I thought it was a great.
No, it's a good. It was a good idea to repeat it.
I thought it was a great little. I landed on a very funny.
We wouldn't have wanted people to not hear it.
just let that simmer. It's a great I found it organically. I think it was very good.
It's great how you just couldn't let it pass.
No, it was too good. It was too opportune. And like I thought I was lobbing it to you, but you moved past it. But I wanted you to really let it simmer. We got a handicap special. Anyway.
Yeah. So for example.
Yes.
The mentally handicapped girl, or physically, or wheelchair girl who's in gymnastics.
Yeah.
Floor gymnastics, let's say.
Yes.
Might get 2 or 3 points for what Simone Biles would get 1.4.
100%. Yeah. But we'll figure, like, the people in any individual sport will figure out how to make it fair. So everyone's on a level playing field, but on the surface, they're playing against each other.
I wonder if a wheelchair basketball team would have some kind of advantage over like a regular Olympian basketball team.
It sounds insane, but if you think about it, if you're like, my first instinct to say no, that's crazy, but only in the because it's wheelchair basketball.
Yeah.
Would they be able to trip up the other team? Would they, would Rudy Gobert Rudy Gay even have a hard time guarding the paint?
Here's a great idea.
Yeah.
We do that. We combine the basketball players with the wheelchair players, but we make fouling legal.
Okay.
So you could run someone over with your wheelchair. And it would be a legal move.
Well, so are we still going to handicap the sport, or is it just going to be like that's natural handicapping?
Yeah.
That's just like, it's just like maybe we're better.
Yeah.
I mean, would you be adverse to like, could Rudy Gobert just sit in a wheelchair if he wanted to?
Sure.
Interesting. Really level the playing field here.
Yeah.
And like, but if you do, we have to give you Novocaine for your legs.
Yeah. You can't just move your legs if you're going to use the.
Because I don't know if there's weird things you can do with your legs. They'll give you more like, torsion or torque. So we paralyze your legs temporarily. What if we just paralyze everyone temporarily? Can we do that?
Yeah, I mean, you could probably numb someone's.
Let's see what Simone Biles does with temporary not use of her legs. That's more interesting.
Yeah.
I think we're on to something here. I mean, because I think we've seen the limit of sports. And we haven't, but you never do, but like, we've seen the limit of what we care about. Yeah. Oh, you're going to do another triple axel? We're getting over it. Like, yeah, it'll always improve, but I don't think people care anymore. But imagine seeing Kevin Durant with a team, like, and not even like, oh, he's trouncing. Imagine him carrying a team of mentally, challenged people.
Oh yeah,
to a championship.
Rudy Gobert has the wheelchair guys. Kevin Durant has the mentally handicapped guys.
Sure, that's and Kevin Durant carries that team. And it's like the Bad News Bears and Miracle and Chariots of Fire are all wrapped up into one. Amazing. Why don't we I should be the commissioner of the IOC.
Simone Biles leads a gymnastics team with just full of girls with no arms.
That would be amazing. And she throws them into the air and they flip. Like
you get a launch.
Yeah. Yeah, we find every sport's got a different thing. That's half the thing. Is it a spectacle? Yes, but it's not exploitive. Just because it's a spectacle doesn't mean it's exploiting people, because these people are having the time of their life, and they're going to get gold medals, and they're hanging out with athletes, and they'll probably get laid.
They all get gold medals?
Well, the ones who win do.
Okay.
But I mean, like, look, here's the deal. Who won wheelchair basketball gold medal this year? You don't even know.
No.
And are they getting laid off of it? Probably not. But if you're there with Kevin Durant and Rudy Gobert and what's his name, the great defender, Drew Holiday, and you're a man who's maybe you're paralyzed, you get your dick sucked.
Yeah. Someone's
sucking your dick. I guarantee it. Or mentally handicapped. I think people who are mentally handicapped, they should look. There should be prostitutes legal, and they should be allowed to have sex with mentally handicapped, because these people deserve to come. I don't this idea like people just because you got bad luck in life and now you're mentally challenged, and like they still want to come, and we have to worry about consent. That's why you have prostitutes.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So like let the prostitutes have sex with the mentally handicapped people. And it's like, you have to worry about consent. It's like, of course they want to. I'm not saying that you have prostitutes break into their rooms and force them into having sex. You know, like it happen organically if they want to.
I mean, we were talking about this.
Why are
before.
they in a prison of the mind?
We were talking about this before. Like if we had like a severely, autistic adult son or something,
or whatever the word for mentally disabled,
and he seemed to want to have sex.
You get a hooker. What are you gonna do?
One.
He wants to come.
Not a rough one.
No, I'm not saying he has some girls on the streets, unfortunately, through her own bad luck and whatnot.
You're not gonna let him go into an abandoned building and get robbed by a prostitute's pimp.
That would be crazy. That would be such a weird scenario. We would be such questionable parents if we somehow look. Our mentally handicapped son has been kind of getting very, he's going through puberty, and look, I mean, it's very complicated because you can tell he's in pain. He's frustrated, sexually frustrated, but what can you do? So we send him to an abandoned warehouse where we knew these very violent pimps hung out, and we hope for the best. And we hope that he would happen. The pimp would, just have a transaction with him very fairly. But what happened, and present him with a prostitute. What happened was very different. He was brutally beaten by the said pimp, and we have egg in our face.
We assumed the pimp would understand what his condition was.
This particular pimp, I don't want to catch aspersions, but this particular pimp had no sympathy for a little boy's state, and no appreciation of the hardship, and he just proceeded to fleece him and beat him, and he even ridiculed him, even made fun of him, which I think was the worst part of it all. I mean, he did break his arm and leg. Yeah. One of each. But I still think that making fun of his handicapped state was the worst thing of all of it.
Absolutely.
So, shame on that pimp. And shame on us. Shame on us. So do you think, who do we talk to about that? Who do we get on? Who do we get? Can we get someone?
Get who?
At the IOC or whatever, the Olympic Committee?
Yeah. I think we could sell this.
Yeah, we could make this happen. We'll move on to we've had the ongoing My Depression Batman segments where I present my Batmans, right? And there's plenty of Batmans to go around. Don't worry about that. But then 2 weeks ago, I think we had Batman Beyond, who's not technically Batman, but he's a Batman. Then we had the Red Hood, who was Jason Todd. This week, I have a very special. I just got this. I usually have the McFarlane figures, if you're nerdy about it. This is not one of them. This is an older rendition of one of my favorite versions of the Joker. This is the Joker from the New 52 Death of a Family arc, where he cuts his face off. And then a year goes by, and where his face is just found somewhere. And then a year later, he shows up, and he steals his face back from the police headquarters, and he straps his own face to his head with his belt or whatever. And then it has maggots on it and stuff. And I really like this guy, this figure.
Is this the state in which he kills Robin?
No, that happened years ago. This is Death of a Family, which is a play on the name of Death of the Family, which is when he killed Jason Todd. So this is the idea of this plot is that he's sick of having to fight, because Batman's got a lot of allies now, right? Kind of like he's too woke almost, too many allies. He's got Nightwing, he used to be Robin. He's got Red Hood, who used to be Robin, who's Jason Todd. He's got Damian, his son, Tim Drake, who is Red Robin now, because he used to be Robin. And then he's got Damian Wayne, the current Robin, his son, his actual son. He's got Barbara Gordon, the Batgirl, and other people too.
Isn't she paralyzed though? She
was. They changed it.
Oh, okay.
Which I respect. People are like, because paralyzed people are like, she was a paralyzed hero. But like whoever writer changed it was like, look, I can't. We have people coming back from the dead here and there, and it's like mystical crap here and there, superpowers. And Barbara Gordon's the only one left paralyzed.
Yeah,
it's kind of shitty.
Sorry, Barbara, nothing we can do.
Yeah.
As people are getting third and fourth lives.
Right, exactly. He's like, let Barbara Gordon walk around and get killed by the Joker again, maybe. But this is, so I love this guy. What part of you would you cut off?
Well, and then sew back onto myself?
Yes.
It's a good question.
Right.
Maybe like the skin of the palm of my hand.
Imagine if it was my dick. Like the Joker, like if I was the Joker and I was like, here's my dick.
Like I cut it off or skinned it.
You cut it off, and I'm like, well, like she cut it off. You got mad at me one day and take the garbage out, and you cut my dick off. And we were a team. If we were the Joker, we'd be a team.
Okay.
So we're constantly bickering.
I'm not your Harley Quinn. We would just both be the Joker.
Yeah, or you could be Harley Quinn, but like I wouldn't kill you. I feel like if Harley Quinn did it to the Joker, he'd kill her.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah.
I wouldn't kill you if you cut my dick off.
You think he would kill her?
I feel like he would.
Yeah, maybe.
I'd laugh and then
You would laugh.
and then give Batman my dick. Okay, look at this, and then sew it back on my face later on.
Yeah, that's the real Joker move.
Yeah, exactly.
If you get angry that your clown girlfriend cuts your dick off, you're not really the Joker.
You're not really appreciating humor.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I just think it'd be a great gag. What do you think?
I think it would be wonderful.
Right? Don't cut my dick off, please.
I won't.
That'd be terrible.
I would never do that without your permission.
I mean, I would never give my permission for that.
Yeah, but if you did, I might.
I want to put it on record here. I will never give my permission for that. So don't do it.
Yeah, never say never.
I say never. I want it on the record. If she does it, it wasn't that she didn't have permission.
That's not necessarily true. You could change your mind.
Oh God, you're gonna do it, aren't you? Moving.
How many is enough when it comes to Batman figures? Do you think you'll ever stop collecting the Batmans?
I mean, I think I might be towards the end.
Really?
It's just I don't have enough space to do it. I mean, like I have like a bin where I put them and kind of rotate them. I rotate them on display.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm already out of space, and like I'm getting to the point where it's like there's too many of them. I wish, based on the passive aggressive way you asked that wasn't the answer, and I would say never. But yeah, we might be like I'm in the position now where I'm like selectively getting figures.
Yeah.
That was compulsive for a while.
Will you ever get a Commissioner Gordon?
It's what's funny because I do want an Alfred. And I do have Alfreds, not current.
Oh yeah, you should have an Alfred.
There's not a current Alfred, but there are Alfreds out there. Some of them are really expensive. But I haven't seen a Gordon figure really. That's a good point.
See, I'm supportive.
Yeah.
Telling you to get Alfred. Telling you to get Commissioner Gordon.
Cut my dick off.
Eventually, it's all going to boil over, and I'll cut your dick off. But for now, I'm being very supportive.
I really hope you don't hurt me in my sleep. Minivans are making a comeback. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Yeah, I read an article this week about minivans. How to make it a comeback. What do you think about that? Do you feel because apparently the more
I didn't know they ever went away.
They were never. They were not cool. They didn't maintain their dominance that they had in the 80s. But I remember talking to a guy when I worked in the morgue who said they were great because he had kids and they actually had the most space of anything. You would think a pickup truck or something, but apparently minivans, if you're hauling stuff or some unless you have an actual van, or like can haul the most stuff, and they're very versatile. And now they're making minivans that have like cool reclining seats.
Ooh.
Do you think this is the end of America if we go back to minivans? Because the SUVs were gas guzzlers, but they look cool.
Right.
Minivans are notoriously dumb. And I get the practicality of it. But do you feel like
I don't think they were ever. I don't think the purpose of a minivan was ever to like be cool. It's,
right.
It's like what moms would drive.
Remember, now moms drive like Porsche Cayennes or something.
They do.
Or the rich moms do. And then, or like, a Lincoln Navigator. Or what's the other one? The Mercury, I forget the Mercury one. There are ones that are reasonably affordable. I'm not talking about poor people. Like, of course, poor people don't have any of them. They barely have cars. I'm talking about the middle class. The middle class of America is starting to let themselves go. Is my point.
You wouldn't want to be seen in a minivan?
I mean, maybe I would, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to. I got a woman who's gonna cut my dick off. It doesn't matter anymore. But I mean, like I'm saying, we're not as a nation trying to impress the world with our ambiance and our panache.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, well, it just seems like who are they making a comeback for? They're not making a comeback for like single men.
I mean, no, not
30s.
single men per se, but like men who have kids who would have gotten, a Mercury Sable or whatever, or a Ford, Explorer even, are now getting a minivan, and just feels like mom jeans.
Mm.
What is it?
Do you think it's a sign that men are being emasculated?
No, I just feel like I don't think it's that. But that's already been done. There's no more men. There's no more men that were just not complaining. I was at the dentist yesterday. And look, we documented this before, how I went to the dentist and you thought it was funny because like he's like he was asking me like, oh, if you're in pain. I'm like, no, it's fine. Yes, I hurt, but it's fine. I can take it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no, they don't want that. You're trying to be a tough guy, but they don't want you doing that because then it hurts.
They don't want you squirming around while you're
Sure, but then yesterday, so I'm trying to be more cognizant of it. He's like, look. These are implants, right? Like, this is my favorite. They pulled the teeth out months ago, and then they put the implants in. The expensive, whatever. I don't talk about it. But these implants, Jesus. But but he's putting them in. Like, this shouldn't really hurt. So if you feel any pain, let me know. I'm like, fine. And I said, like, it's just gums, right? I mean, like the nerves are gone. They're just gum. Yeah, all right. So like, I start going. If like it hurts a little bit, I could take it, but it's like you want to know, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
And then at one point I could tell he got frustrated. He's like, he's point to where the pain is. I'm like, where you're doing it? What are you talking about? Like, this is what I'm saying. I don't want to point to the nerve ending where I'm feeling pain. Just get it over with.
Right.
Like, this is why I intuitively knew. I don't want to play this game of like, oh, that's okay. Just fucking torque the wrench, get the metal in my mouth, and I gotta stop. Don't put me in this position where I gotta be like, oh, I'm sorry, it's over here. No, it's like point to where it is. Like, don't get snippy with me. I can take anything you give me. You get snippy with me? It's wherever you're doing the thing. I'm like, where are you feeling it now? I'm not feeling it now. It's whenever you were torquing the wrench. He's got a literal torque wrench.
Yeah.
I'm like, and it's like,
did they give you Novocaine?
Yeah. I mean, I think this guy's just bad Novocaine because I didn't really feel any pain. I had other, like the whole thing happened almost mirror image last year, the top teeth. And that guy, it was a different dentist, same dental place, but for whatever reason, it was a different dentist. And I didn't have any pain. I think this guy's just bad giving Novocaine. Just fine. I'll sit there and take it like a Russian soldier. Son of a bitch. Oh, point to where it is. Point to my dick. Anyway.
Do you think he was trying to mess with you?
No, I think he's just, just trying to like alpha me for some reason. And I'm not, I'm not going to be alphaed by a dentist. Why aren't you a surgeon? Why aren't you Dr. Death? We tried watching that Dr. Death thing.
It's really bad.
Well, it's on Peacock. It's a show about a surgeon who is, I don't know. He's like mangling his patients, and like the whole everything's laid out in the first episode. It seems like they're onto him already. They know how bad he is.
Everyone knows he's a killer by the middle of the first episode.
Yeah, and so like there's gonna be 7 or 8 more episodes of this. I just went on Wikipedia, like, what is the deal? And I was so annoyed if I stuck with it because it's like the end of it, like no one really knows for sure. He's like a malignant narcissist, but like, there's no clear cut thing. I'm gonna watch enough with these docuseries. Make a movie. Enough. You know what I mean? You have to draw this out for Joshua Jackson from Fringe and Gilmore and what's the show he was on? Dawson's Creek.
Fringe.
I said Fringe, but Dawson's Creek.
Yeah.
Yeah. People know that more than Fringe probably. I'm just saying, like
it's great in Fringe.
Fringe is the best show ever made.
He gets people with mugs.
He's a genius. He's a genius, and in the first episode, he interrogates a man by hitting him in the hand with a mug. Anyway, so there's that. Do you remember Scholastic Books?
I do.
Scholastic Books. We're gonna take a little trip down nostalgia lane because Scholastic Books. Excuse my speech abortion. I don't want to say impediment. I feel insecure saying speech impediment, so I should say speech abortion. But Scholastic Books was a what would you call it? You'd be in school. You'd be they're a publisher. But the thing I remember about Scholastic,
I remember the Scholastic Book Fair.
There was the fair. What I remember more, keenly was there was the Scholastic Book sale every month, I believe, or every 2 months. I forget. But you'd be in school, and they would hand out this very colorful flyer of different books, different children's books, right? And there'd be an order form on the back. And I would usually forget to ask my mom to buy me a book. And so there would be the day, inevitably, when the Scholastic box shows up in the classroom. And some people get books and some people don't. And nowadays they have this phenomenon called FOMO, fear of missing out, right? Which I find abhorrent. But it is a real thing. That is what Scholastic Books was known for. Or like without having the term, right? Like, did you ever not get Scholastic Books that way? Or did you have that in your class?
Yeah, we had the Scholastic Book Fair is what I remember.
Well, the fair was once a year.
And I remember I would always get a book at the fair.
Yes, but you guys didn't have the handouts, and then the books would come to the class?
Were those the kinds of books where it was like, help, I'm trapped in my teacher's body?
Sure.
Yeah.
Or like, my teacher's an alien?
The author of those books, the Help, I'm Trapped books.
Yeah.
They came to give a thing at our school.
Give what, raping?
He talked.
What did he give?
He talked about his books.
Oh, really? What do you have to say about them?
Yeah, he talked about the process of writing to Help, I'm Trapped.
I'd love to know. Can you relate anything interesting from that?
There was something that happened towards the end where I didn't have.
Touched you? He said, "Keep your mouth shut."
No one will believe you.
Yeah.
Do you know who I am? I wrote the Help, I'm Trapped books. And now
Help, you're trapped.
This is how I come up with my ideas.
I hurt people.
But no, towards the end, I wanted to get his autograph because I did like the Help, I'm Trapped book.
Sure. Did you have a copy?
But I didn't have a copy of the book.
Oh, wow.
So I tried to go and get him to sign a piece of paper.
Yes, yeah. Go on.
And they wouldn't let me do it.
They wouldn't let you do it?
Yeah.
I have a similar story.
Yeah.
My mom was a very big fan of the Frugal Gourmet. Do you remember the Frugal Gourmet?
No.
Jeff, I think his name was Jeff Smith. He was he was on the PBS channel. His show was called the Frugal Gourmet. And he was I guess, I didn't even know what that word meant when I was a kid. But in hindsight, I guess he was just being a cheapskate. But he had all these cookbooks. My mom owned them, anyway. And he was he was also happened to be a Methodist priest or whatever they call it, preacher. And he was giving a sermon at some Methodist church. We're Catholic, but whatever. To a town or two over. So we go there one day. And I didn't even give a shit about this guy. Yeah. It was kind of but it's kind of oh, this guy's on TV. I didn't watch him of my own volition, but my mom would have him on. So it's kind of a celebrity thing. And she has all his books. I think she bought one that day, his new book, because he had a book signing thing upstairs afterwards. And she's bringing his books to sign. And then me and my brother, she gave we had a legal pad or whatever from my dad's office. And he goes, "Can you sign an autograph for them?" And he was so annoyed they had to sign something that wasn't a book that was bought. He signed so hard he ripped a page. Now he's dead. I'm glad. Piece of shit. So I get it. I understand. But this man, you wouldn't even allow it to. Did you try?
I couldn't even approach him.
Did he have copies of his book for sale?
Yeah.
Do you not have money?
No.
You had no money on you.
Uh-uh.
Piece of shit.
Yeah.
These FOMO-inducing scumbags. It might as well be rapists.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Scholastic Book Fair was always very. The fair was one thing, it was more for me the memory of the monthly thing, and so Indian in the Cupboard books, perhaps. I used to love those books as a kid. Anyway, so the CEO of that company is dead.
Oh. And
he left everything. He cut his kids out of the will, and he left everything to his. Oh, I was gonna say whore widow, but mistress. His mistress.
The whore widow.
His mistress.
His mistress. So his wife didn't get anything either?
She might have been dead. Let's look this up. Let's bring up the Apple News. Where's the Apple News? How do I get to the Apple? Here we go. Because I had this saved. History. Oh, we got to talk about Christopher Maloney, perhaps. Succession drama grips. Scholastic CEO sudden death as office romance and will surprise Will.
Oh, she's cute.
I mean, she's all right. And look, this guy's an old fuck, and she's, the longtime head of Scholastic Corp, M. Richard Robinson, died suddenly in June on a walk in Martha's Vineyard. Just fucking burn the whole thing down. What are we doing in this country? He didn't give control of his $1.2 billion publisher to either of his two sons or his siblings or his ex-wife, with whom he had rekindled a friendship during the pandemic. Oh, he rekindled a friendship? Instead, control went to Lowell Lucie, the crime family? Scholastic's chief strategy officer. She also inherited all his personal possessions.
Huh.
Yeah, so I don't know if she was a whore or not. I don't know if she was that kind of harsh. But I mean, from the kid's perspective, who is this whore?
Yeah.
That of course, over whiskeys, that came out.
Oh, yeah.
Who is this whore who has our company?
How bad are these kids?
They're probably terrible kids, right? Yeah. That's a great question.
Yeah.
They're probably worse than the kids from Succession. They're probably like, if you haven't watched Succession, it's a great show, but they're probably worse than those kids. It's probably like, one's a rapist, and the other one's a child rapist, and the third one's a Catholic priest. Oh, burn. The elder son, Ben Robinson, 34 years old, said in an email when he grasped his father's estate plans, it, quote, served as salt of an open wound. Whatever. I mean, there's not much to say about this. I just feel like it's interesting that, like, this thing which caused me so much, and I'm sorry to say it, FOMO in my childhood, was headed by such a dick-oriented guy.
So he can't,
Dick first.
If you were the mistress,
yeah,
would you toss people like a little bit of money just to keep yourself from being hated?
No, because you give them that. I mean, it depends. If it really, because you look at the end of the day, when you fuck good, right?
Yeah. And
you don't always fuck the same, right? And if you're giving good head, if you're fucking good. So it really depends on how well I fuck this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sure. That's a good point.
If I was sucking him like a Roomba,
sucking him dry,
just fucking draining his balls on a nightly basis, I ain't giving you shit.
You earned it.
Yeah. But if I know, like, look, he was happy to be with me, I got him off. But I left some cum in the balls. I left some in the tank. I might throw a few shekels around. Depends. It really depends on how well I did in the whoring. I mean, she's got. Look, what if you ended up fucking a guy who owned it, who you just thought was who owned a deli, but he ended up being the heir of the Harry Potter fortune? How would you feel if you got the Harry Potter fortune?
I would feel great. I would probably just give. Look, what I would do is I'd throw $5 million to all the major family members.
Each?
Yeah, like what is it? Like 4 people? I
mean, what's it worth? Man, how much is this company worth?
$5 million, and then I say,
that's a lot of money. $1.2 billion. All right, yeah.
And I say, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can't live on $5 billion, what are you? I mean, they'll still come after you like jackals. But I mean, that is a good point. You have these estate things, and no one ever thinks to go, hey, look, you're not gonna win. Here's $5 million.
Yeah.
$5 million. But these people are like expecting to like. This thing, $5 million, you could live forever if you're not living like a crazy rich person.
Right.
But they want to live like in the largesse of this, while going to Martha's Vineyard, while having speedboats and yachts and all this shit. It's like if you want to go live in Michigan, have a real mansion practically, you could buy a mansion in Michigan for $1 million, I'm sure.
Sure.
And then live modestly. Not even modestly, just like, if you invest, but I'm saying even if you don't invest, $4 million left, right? You don't have to live modestly. Just don't live like a maniac.
Yeah.
You could live forever on that. practically. But these people want to live in Soho or Chelsea or Martha's Vineyard. I mean, I would just, but whatever. I don't know what to tell you. Look, I mean, do you think companies should go to the people, the kids, or like whoever?
No.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, like, you can't. The funny thing is, you can't disenfranchise your wife. You can disenfranchise your kids. I remember this from my paralegal studies, but you can't disenfranchise your wife.
What does disenfranchise mean?
Like not leave them anything.
Oh.
Your wife is entitled to at least half your estate.
Really?
Oh yeah. Or
when
whole
you die?
estate. Yeah. Your current wife. Like, if you divorce her, it's different, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, yeah, your current wife, you can't leave her out of the will. And there are certain guys, like you don't have to leave her everything, I think. I think if you leave her at least half, you're okay, but I'm not sure about specifics. You can't disenfranchise them. But you can disenfranchise your kids. Yeah. Your kids are ass out of luck. Yeah. They can sue and all this shit and make maneuvers. But if your wife, you can't screw over.
I really want to look into these kids. See what kind of lives they live.
Yeah, how many children do they rape?
Yeah. What did they do?
Scholastic child rapes. I meant to get this earlier, but the climate. There's some report today. I read that the climate change is getting worse than before.
Don't they come out and say that like every 2 years?
They do seem to, right?
Yeah. Like,
I mean, look, are we on the same page that like maybe they're lying?
Yeah.
They could be lying.
But look, it could be a farce. But I mean, I don't assume that it is, but it's like if I was informed like tomorrow that it's like, yeah, climate change has been a hoax the entire time, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised.
For those listening on audio, I just I glared at you.
Yeah.
With a whiskey glass. No, I think you're right. Look, here's the thing. There still is. I don't know how to feel about it. Because no matter what, the climate is warming, right?
Yeah.
And they'll make the case that most scientists argue that like it's not. I think that's the thing. Most conservative people or whatever aren't denying the climate is warming, right? They claim that it doesn't have to do with us,
right?
The carbon emissions we're doing. I'll say I'll lean towards the scientific consensus, even though I do think. I don't know. They're probably right. We probably could cut emissions. Will cutting emissions now do anything? I mean, here's the thing. Now you're saying that, basically from the gist I got from it is that if we don't do drastic things now, then by 2030, we're going to be 1.5 degrees warmer than otherwise we would be. And then 2050 will be 2 degrees. And that's real bad. Here's the thing. It's real bad if you live in New York or Florida, right? What about people who live in Detroit? Does Detroit become the new hotspot?
Yeah.
That's your climate. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Are they the same thing? I forget.
Yeah, all these cities could use a revival.
I'm just saying, like we have plenty of room in America if you think about it. Will climate change just shift what are the hot spots? Perhaps.
It'll only do that.
Yeah. Look, people are going to die because they're dumb or like they're lazy.
Or they don't want to move.
Yeah, move. People don't want to move now for jobs. I mean, here's the thing. No one wants to move now for jobs, right? And I'm not saying like lightly, but those immigrant grandparents you talk all this shit about, right? Everyone loves to talk about their immigrant fucking grandparents. What do? They went across the ocean to get jobs. And we're all like, I don't want to leave my home. They literally left their country.
Right.
So, I mean, but then the climate change, yeah, we're going to have to move, I guess. I don't know. Nothing's good. There's no prospects that are good, right? It's all fake. We're all living in a fake world, fake wars, and fake... I mean, I think the virus is real. I think the vaccine's real. I'm vaccinated. That being said, the aggression, I don't know. There's a lot of fake shit left and right. You don't trust anyone is my point.
Yeah.
Is climate change real?
No. Official stance of the show.
Wow. Is that safer than saying talk about the vaccine?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think you can talk shit. I think
climate. That's one perk of the virus now is we can talk shit about climate change.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah. Hey, shoot your hairspray in the ocean. It's just fucking. I want to build a machine that just pumps hairspray into the ocean, and it's fine as long as you don't deny the vaccine works. Is there any way we could fix climate change? You think? Any fun ways we could think of?
Well, they are talking about building those little robots that fly in the air and suck up carbon.
Well, pull your thumb out of your ass. Come on. Why are they doing that?
I don't know. I don't think they're done yet. But the idea is that they'll float around and they'll suck up the carbon.
This is what I've been thinking about that for years. And like put some kind of weird rods in the ocean, they'll cool it off.
Right, yeah.
Like I'm not saying I know how to make them, but there's that kid, Rogan talked about him for a while, who had a machine that skimmed the garbage panels of those.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. The Dutch kid or whatever.
Yeah, that like Mr. Burns idea.
Mr. Burns?
Yeah, there's an episode of The Simpsons where Mr. Burns builds a giant net that's supposed to wipe the sea clean, but then he ends up killing all these whales.
Oh. I'm sorry, I'm not a Simpsons kid. There's a phenomenon out there of Simpsons kids. I wasn't one of them. It's funny because we watched The Simpsons. I remember I've watched every episode, it seems like.
Yeah.
But like I'm not one of those kids who could quote The Simpsons. But you were.
Yeah. I was a Simpsons kid.
Yeah. Interesting. So we don't believe in climate change. But
official stance of the show.
Get vaccinated if you want. I'm vaccinated. You're vaccinated.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit in a soapbox and like start like, like Paul Revere and start going like, yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, I take pause of the histrionics of things, right? I do think it's I think it's safe. I think it's fine. I do think there's a lot of misinformation. That being said, admit to people, like, look, yeah, I mean, there is a lot of weird energy around it, but it's safe anyway.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
They probably shouldn't let the doctors do the PSAs.
The doctors give the worst PSAs. We watched Jeopardy. We talked about this. And the commercial breaks, the doctors giving the PSAs, like the head doctor of New York or whatever, you might as well get Bobcat Goldthwait. And you should actually prefer that. The guy from Police Academy?
Yeah.
Have him do the PSA.
Get Eddie Murphy to do the PSA.
I mean, yeah, I got afford. I mean, you might be able to afford Bobcat Goldthwait. You're not gonna get Eddie Murphy. I mean, I'll just tank the whole budget. Eddie Murphy. How poorly did Come to America 2 perform? We think Eddie Murphy to do PSA. Why don't you Denzel Washington? Yeah, it'd be nice. But it's a good thought.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy, why don't you pull your thumb out of your ass and do something? I'm trying to help. That's my vaccine PSA. You're not going to hear me going, blah, 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 soapbox, this and that. It's just like vaccine passport. I'm saying I'm fine with it. You're fine with it. What's your life worth? I mean, that's how I always felt about it. I mean, I was like, take a gamble at least. Even if you don't believe. What are you preserving? You be the last guy sitting in the bar going, at least I'm not vaccinated.
Yeah, right.
Enough. No, you're not that important. No one's that important. I just wish Joe DiMaggio would come running at me with a baseball bat. Anyway, so anything to plug?
I don't think so. What about you?
Well, we got the Patreon. We do the Patreon every week, get an extra episode every week. A couple weeks ago, we had Tim Dillon on the Patreon. That was phenomenal. And last week, we had a great episode. It was hilarious. The great Tim Dillon.
The great.
And then last week was, again, me and you. And also great.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Sign up for the Patreon if you like. The link's in the description. And, have a great week. We'll see you next week.